Two Broke Rednecks present
We're getting high class. This film has a cast and everything.
Howard was riddled by the thought of Molly growing up.
So it's a comedy about your period?
Whoever's scripting my wife's periods, I wish they'd stop.
How many people came? I don't think the church could have held anymore. The whole church was lighted with candles. And it's the first wedding I've ever been to.
And the last, because Mother says I'm annoying.
And the bride, she had the most beautiful dress I've ever seen. It was all white satin. Come on, we'll be late for school. Coming, Peggy. I better go now. Goodbye.
My goodness, Molly is certainly growing up.
And we have a title.
Meanwhile, at Gotham Junior High, Batman finds out Robin is gay.
Hi, Miss Jensen.
Good morning, girls. How's your throat this morning, Molly?
Oh, just fine. It doesn't hurt at all anymore.
Well, you'd better stop by my office and let me take a look at it. It won't take a minute.
Okay.
Do you like looking at native girls in National Geographic, Molly?
Okay, Molly, let's take a look. Oh, yes. Oh, that's clearing up just fine.
You'll be back to whoring in no time.
Going to the game tonight?
Oh, sure.
And the bra burning afterwards?
Cheering for you, because that throat is still slightly inflamed.
Okay, I'll be careful.
Oh, by the way, Molly, your mother left her gloves over at my house last night. Will you take them to her?
Sure.
And tell her I never had a woman please me like that before.
Okay. You know, I've known Molly and her family ever since...
Who the hell are you talking to? Who the hell are we talking
I'd
to?
like to know her, too.
This week on A Special Family Matters,
Molly lives at home with her father,
The abusive drunk?
her mother,
the closet lesbian,
and her older sister, Jeannie.
Who's the town slut?
Jeannie and Molly each have their own rooms.
to prevent cat
But lately, it
fights.
seems that Molly is more interested in Jeannie's room than her own.
Because that's where all the sex toys are
Molly and
located.
Jeannie get along, well, about as most sisters do.
Molly!
Oh shit.
What do you think you're doing?
Nothing, Jeannie. I just happened to come in and...
Why is your underwear on the ceiling?
Honestly, Molly, how many times have I asked you to leave my things alone?
Hundreds, but I wasn't really
And
listening.
you didn't get all the lipstick off either.
Oh, I wasn't going to hurt your old things.
Besides, they sort of smell funny.
Well, why don't you ask Mom for some things of your own? You're old enough now.
I bet this would make a neat hat.
Jeannie, when do you think I'll start having periods, too?
Oh, I don't know. Pretty soon, I suppose. I was 13 when I started.
And I thought I was dying.
Peggy's already started hers, and I'm 6 months older than she is.
Well, so what? Some start earlier and some later. We're all different. And from the way you've been acting lately, it shouldn't be long now.
Then Dad'll toss chocolates at you like he does me and Mom.
One day, not long after that, Molly came home from school. That you, Molly?
No, it's the milkman.
Hi, what kind of a day did you have today?
Mom, guess what?
I don't know. What?
Mom, I started my first period.
Well, what do you know?
Well, you are a girl after all.
Down.
I began
Tell
to
me
think
about
you
it.
were a boy.
When did it start?
Well, it was this afternoon when I was changing into my gym clothes, and I noticed a bit of blood on my panties, and golly, at first
I thought I was going to die.
Well, I didn't know what to think. And then I remembered when we talked about
Menstruation.
menstruation and stuff, and Well, then I went to see Miss Jensen.
And for some reason, she threw pads and chocolate at me.
How do you feel?
Kind of funny like. I was hoping it would start soon.
And now I wish it would go away.
I've forgotten everything you've told me.
All right, I tell you what we'll do. Tonight will be mother and daughter conference night.
And we will discuss cutting off
We'll get
wieners.
started that much earlier.
Okay, I'll wash up and be right down.
Golly. And it won't be long at all before you're quite used to it.
And hate it.
Honey, menstruation is perfectly normal. It happens every month. Sit up, dear.
But why each month, Mom?
Oh, it's just part of being a woman, I guess.
I know very little
Of course,
about
right
my
at
body.
first you probably won't be very regular. Most girls don't settle down for a year or so. Even then, some girls go more than a month between periods and others less. That's normal, too. And eventually your body will set up its own regular time.
And you'll
Sit up,
discover
Molly.
mentioning your period will make most men
I'm
run.
comfortable.
Well, if you sit and stand straight, that'll give the organs inside your body room to function better.
Or so your father's told me.
I'll get it. That's probably Peggy.
I can't wait to tell her.
Hello? Oh, hi, Peggy. Sure, just a minute, I'll ask. Mom, can I go swimming with Peggy tomorrow after school?
I don't think I would, Molly.
But I'd be home by 5:30.
No, it's not a good idea the first 2 or 3 days of your period. You might get chilled and catch cold.
Besides, you might have
Oh,
cracked
that's
sharks.
fine. Peggy, of course I can't go swimming. You know I've got the curse.
She has a curse
That's
and
right.
her
It's a good
period?
idea
That
for
must
a
be
couple of
horrible.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Good heavens, Molly, you're growing like a weed. I'm going to have to let that hem down again. Come on, I'll do it right now.
Okay.
You know, I've often wondered why it is that some women still call menstruation the curse.
I don't know. Peggy calls it that. And it is kind of a nuisance, isn't it?
I suppose
No,
it
it's
is
not.
sometimes.
Of course it is, you idiot.
Just that it sounded sort of old-fashioned to hear you say it.
What are you two up to?
Oh, how were the fights, Jim?
I beat the shit out of 3 guys.
Something wrong with our aerial, though. We ought to be getting a better picture than that. What was all the talk about in here?
Better not be about me.
Is this a private conference?
No, I don't think so. Do you, Molly?
No, I guess not. You tell her, Mom.
Well, Jim, Molly's growing up. She's having her first menstrual period.
Oh, hell no.
What? Already? Oh, but Alice, I thought... Well, I mean, after all, she's
oh,
only...
Daddy, don't be so silly. I'm not a baby anymore.
I know, dear, but, well... No. No, honey, I guess you aren't.
Growing up is fun.
No, it's not.
Some of the things Molly used to do seem a little silly now.
Like eating the mud pies out of
Sometimes
a
she
easy
gets all
bake oven.
mixed up just thinking about it. She's changing from a child into an adult, and it's a little confusing at times.
Like, why do guys wipe their face before offering me a seat?
Molly had lots of questions about what was happening to her. It so happened I had a chance to answer some of them.
But
Her
the rest
teacher
of them
was
I
sick
ignored
one day
because
and
they
asked
were
her to take her
stupid.
class. And this is true of women everywhere. So you see, menstruation is just the natural, normal process leading up to being a mother.
That's why I drew the Dodge
This
Ram
is
logo on the board.
diagram of the uterus or womb, and these are the fallopian tubes leading to it, and these the ovaries which produce the egg cells. Now these egg cells are far too small for us to see.
But I'm going to draw
Once
one
An
anyway.
egg cell will leave one of the ovaries, go into the opening of the tube nearest to it, and then it's on its way to the uterus. Now, at the same time, the uterus has been preparing a growing place for this egg, a soft lining of blood vessels and tissues. If the egg unites with a male cell or sperm as it's on its way down the tube, it is fertilized, and then when it reaches the uterus, it settles down in this soft lining and begins to grow into a baby. But if the egg cell is not fertilized, it disappears.
So my uterus is magical?
And then, since the lining is no longer needed, it too dissolves away. And it flows out of the body through an opening in the hymen, which is a membrane over the opening of the vagina.
Don't let me down,
So we say that we are
Hymantown.
menstruating. Yes, Barbara.
Miss Jensen, when does menstruation start?
If you haven't
Well,
started
some
now,
girls
you're a
start when they're
freak.
10 years old, and some when they're 16 or 17, or anywhere in between. But the average age seems to be about 13.
No, I mean what day of the week will it start? My mother
That has
starts
to be
on
the
Tuesday.
stupidest
Will
question
mine
I've
too?
ever heard, and we are all dumber for
might,
it.
But it probably won't, because each girl's body sets up her own time and rhythm. And the time between periods may vary anywhere from 23 to 32 days. And the flow lasts from 2 to 7 days, also depending on the girl's own rhythm.
But act like it lasts
Miss
7 days,
Jensen,
so boys
how
should stay
often should you
away.
change napkins when you're menstruating?
Well, that depends on the amount of flow.
And
So
how
probably
nasty
5 or 6
you
times
are.
a day. And that brings up another point. Many of you girls haven't started to menstruate yet, but when you do, you will want to use a sanitary napkin to absorb the flow. It's a soft, absorbent pad, and it's made to fit over the opening of the vagina.
It looks like a
and follow
diaper
the
when you
curve
do
of
it
the
like
body.
that.
The tab ends are attached to a narrow elastic belt, which you can wear around your hips or waist.
Don't you wish you
Now,
lived in the
some girls
50s?
prefer to use
Nope.
tampons. A tampon is a cylinder of absorbent cotton inside a cardboard applicator. It is inserted into the vagina by means of the applicator.
And it has a fuse as
Cotton
short as your
absorbs
temper
the
during this
flow,
time.
And when it is full, you remove it and discard it. Yes, Molly?
Miss Jensen, is it true that people can tell when you're menstruating?
Only
No,
the
it
strange
isn't.
ones.
But you should be more careful than ever about personal cleanliness and dainties. Change your underwear more often, and be sure and use a deodorant. And pay more attention to your hair and your nails, and plan to wear your prettiest dress. In other
So
words,
women are at
be
the
your
best
most
looking, they're on their
attractive
period,
self.
huh?
And remember, menstruation is only a part of growing up. As you grow, your body changes from that of a young girl to that of a woman. It's becoming round with the beginnings of a bosom and the start of a real waistline and hips. And hair is beginning to grow in different places, pubic hair and underarm hair.
And for some, lip
Yes,
hair.
Al?
Miss Jensen, what about dancing? Can you when you're menstruating?
Yes, you can, with moderation. In fact, you can do most of the things you usually do. You can bathe or shower as long as you use warm water. And you can wash your hair if you're sure to dry it quickly. And you can swim if you wait until after 2 or 3 days after the beginning of your period. And you can go to dances and picnics. But it's not a very good idea to skate, or ride horseback, or play fast games like volleyball and basketball, or do strenuous dancing like square dancing, or anything that bounces you around a lot.
Because
In
those
general,
activities
mild
suck.
exercises are best. Ones that strengthen the abdominal muscles are particularly good. It's sensible to avoid strenuous exercise when you're menstruating.
That's why you
And
get
be
out of
sure and tell your
PE.
mother or me if everything doesn't seem to be just right. Now, I'd like each of you to take one of these booklets about menstruation. And when
It's
you
also a
finish reading it,
coloring
if you have any
book.
questions, be sure and come and see me. And remember, menstruation is as normal and natural as eating or breathing or sleeping. Soon, Molly will be a young woman like her Jeannie, having dates, going to dances in lovely romantic dresses,
Putting
and
out for
making
boys
new
in the
and
backseat of
important
cars.
friends. There are so many wonderful things to look forward to. Growing up,
Sucks.
it's an exciting time.
Well, I'm scarred for life. Dear Bark Rednecks, we don't make bad movies, we make bad movies better.